Hello, NBA fans. Every day we have news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan and I ask for your help by subscribing to the channel and giving me your thumbs up. Could the Lakers sign Giannis Antetokounmpo? Yes, but the price is too high and they would have to give up Austin Reaves. A duo with Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo would be phenomenal and would make the Lakers title favorites. The NBA is a star-driven league. Long gone are the days of a singular superstar like Dirk Nowitzki carrying a franchise to the finals. If you don't have two stars, good luck even thinking about a deep playoff run. The Lakers are in one of the more interesting situations in the league when it comes to stars. The team currently employs one of the biggest stars in the game today, one of the biggest stars in sports history, and one of the most fun budding stars in the league. It's a strange middle ground they find themselves in. Luka Doncic is clearly a star now and will be for a long time barring injury. The trouble comes with their other two stars. LeBron James is one of, if not the greatest, players of all time, but after already missing 15 games and coming close to ending his 10-plus point scoring streak on multiple occasions, doubts are starting to creep in for many about how long he has left. For fifth-year Austin Reaves, it's an entirely different story. While yes, his stats are tracking similarly to Kobe Bryant, and he's a budding star in this league, is he really a star that you can count on to drag a team to the finals? That's yet to be proven, unlike Doncic. The Lakers could, however, create quite a legitimate star pairing for the right price. Would they be willing to pay it, though? What would it take for the Lakers to add Giannis Antetokounmpo? The Bucks have lost their last 7 games, and Giannis is not happy. If he were to be moved, what would that look like for Los Angeles in order to pair Antetokounmpo with Doncic? Lakers receive. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bucks receive. Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Maxi Kleber. Likely a first-round pick. Quite the haul. It really brings up the debate of depth over high-end talent. Even with the way Austin Reaves has been playing this season, if Giannis is on the table, you unfortunately have to make that happen, even if it would hurt Lakers fans' souls. There is another way to make it happen, though. A much more unlikely way. It would involve trading LeBron James and his son, Bronny James, in exchange for Giannis. The contracts work out beautifully, but with LeBron's no-trade clause in his contract, it's very unlikely he would sign off to end his career in Wisconsin. It would retain more depth, though, without a doubt, and what a team that would be. It might not happen this season, but the Lakers certainly have their eyes set on the Greek Freak. No lift. Brian Windhorst says LeBron James showed his age during loss against the Suns. A scary time is finally upon us. LeBron James is fading away from the dominant force that he's been for so many years. This was very apparent in the Lakers' most recent game against the Phoenix Suns. James logged 31 minutes but managed just 10 points on 3 of 10 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, with 0 rebounds and only 3 assists. It wasn't just James. The purple and gold looked sluggish after playing 3 games in 4 days. The Suns ran away with this one 125-108. But the Kings' physical capabilities seemed diminished. His powerful frame and ability to turn a fast break into a slam dunk now seem like a distant memory. The 40-year-old star's poor play yesterday was the topic of conversation during today's NBA on ESPN broadcast. Analyst Brian Windhorst, who has been covering Bron since he came into the league in 2003, pointed out how James didn't really seem to have any lift to his jump shots, and how that was easy to spot from a mile away. He didn't have any lift. He didn't have any burst and he didn't have any lift. We haven't really seen this from LeBron. I know that he's shown his age at times over the last couple of seasons. This is the first time this year I've felt he's looked this way, stated Windy. The broadcast then pulled up a play from the Lakers-Suns game where James tried to take the rock and score from the baseline. It ended with him getting blocked. He goes baseline, and he just has no lift on that shot. This is easy pickings for Mark Williams here. This is not a typical LeBron James play. James' sciatica might have been worse than expected. He's not a young man anymore, and keeping up with how fast-paced the NBA has become could already be taking a toll. Hopefully, he's just not in game shape yet because of missing the first 14 games of the year. That's what Windhorst is suggesting at least. We want this to be an outlier situation, certainly an outlier situation in his career, the analyst somberly said. Definitely something to keep our eye on. You do not want to see this be the norm. You want to see this as LeBron having an old bad night. Not something that we see recurrently, he added. The good news is that LA has a couple of nights off to rest before they travel to Toronto for a showdown with the Raptors. This could give LeBron, head coach JJ Redick, and the rest of the Lakers squad time to figure out how they want to integrate the King into the offense. The time might have finally come for him to play a supporting role. Nothing can ever be taken away from James. He's still going to go down as one of, if not the, best players to ever lace up sneakers in the NBA. But time waits for no man, and we may have finally reached the point where Le Goat should consider this being his final year on the hardwood. However, I reserve the right to change my mind when he gets a triple-double in the next game. Giannis Antetokounmpo's cryptic move is the latest tease keeping Lakers fans hooked. Everyone in Los Angeles is overthinking Giannis' social media cleanup. Giannis Antetokounmpo, or rather whoever may run his account, cleaned up his social media. It sent the NBA world into a frenzy. In a time of overanalyzing cryptic messages, this one was too hard for fans to ignore. Giannis has deleted all posts on Twitter going back to 2021 and has removed all Bucks-related content on his IG, excluding his NBA championship and cup posts. This is the last tweet on his Twitter feed. His Twitter/X and Instagram accounts both notably got a massive makeover. The big thing most were pointing out is just how much Milwaukee Bucks content was erased from his platforms. It looks like what a friend would do after a breakup to showcase they are single again. Giannis has deleted every Instagram post related to the Bucks, keeping only his championship win and the cup picks up. Given that vibe, many quickly rushed to the thought of this being the beginning of the end for Antetokounmpo's time in Milwaukee. Fans everyone have begun dreaming of what Giannis would look like in their team's threads. The Los Angeles Lakers fanbase is very much so involved in that. It is hard to really fault anyone here for getting their hopes up. Anyone with any sort of interest in watching their team succeed should want a superstar of Giannis' caliber for their franchise. Whether there is any actual real substance here is a different subject matter. The shameless lobbying for Giannis services has kicked into overdrive. Giannis and Luka Doncic, that sounds like a dream duo, doesn't it? After last year's shocking blockbuster that landed the Slovenian superstar in Los Angeles for a fraction of his total worth, Lakers fans would be forgiven for believing anything is possible. There's already one European featured in a starring role for Hollywood's team, why not two? It's a nice thought, and one that is easily contagious. Many have quickly pointed out that one of the remaining tweets still up on Antetokounmpo's page is from December 15, 2020. It discusses making the next 5 years count. It just so happens that mark will be hit less than 2 weeks from now. This is my home, this is my city. I'm blessed to be able to be a part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on, let's get it. Is that when the trade wars commence? If the Lakers want a realistic shot at landing the dominant superstar, they should hope not. Without Antetokounmpo specifically forcing his way to Los Angeles, the trade assets do not stack up favorably for the Lakers. This is a point of focus many fans will be tired of, but it still remains true and relevant. There would be no secret discussions as there were with the Doncic trade here. Unless Austin Reeves is being floated as a trade chip, there is very little to suggest the viability of a deal. It's not that Reeves would be untouchable in those scenarios, but there is good reason to be tired of the idea involving moving on from the rapidly rising star. The Lakers' best bet for a union is, and has always been, free agency. There should be a quiet encouragement for Giannis to ride out the rest of his contract until 2027 if the bright lights of Los Angeles are meant for him. Why Chris Paul can't sign with the Lakers, yet. Chris Paul's release from the Los Angeles Clippers took the NBA by surprise. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, the Clippers sent Paul home. Having lost 14 of their last 16, LA opted to cut Paul loose. The reasons why are still trickling out, but there's already speculation about where Paul might go next. One popular destination, and an easy one to leap to, is the Los Angeles Lakers. Except there's one problem with that: Paul can't sign with the Lakers until January 19. More, inside the kind of college basketball win that only happens in Syracuse, New York. ESPN clarified that specific detail in a new article that analyzes Paul's options. The Lakers are dealing with penalties associated with the second apron of the salary cap setup, and so they can't fill their open 15th roster spot until that date. The Houston Rockets are another team that could consider Paul but also can't sign him until January. Roster spots will open up for more teams on January 7, when teams make decisions on partially guaranteed contracts, writes ESPN's Bobby Marks. All this January talk suggests Paul may be a free agent for a little while before going somewhere new. That'd be good for the Lakers, at least, since they can't do anything to get Paul in the meantime, if that's a move they'd really like to consider. CP3 was only playing 14 minutes a night with the Clippers, but it seems likely that he'd enjoy joining LeBron and making one last run at a title. Former teammate thinks LeBron James doesn't like playing with Luka Doncic. LeBron James made the headlines for all the wrong reasons after the Los Angeles Lakers' 125-108 loss to the Phoenix Suns at Crypto.com Arena on Monday. James looked disengaged for long stretches against the Suns and ended up having his worst game of the season. There has been a lot of chatter about why that may be the case, and his former teammate Darren Williams shared his theory on the To the Baja podcast. I saw some clips of them where it looked like he don't really with Luka Doncic, Williams said. Not shaking hands. I've seen like 7 clips. He didn't help him up when he fell. Little s like that. One of the moments Williams was referring to was when Chris Dunn shoved Luka Doncic during a game between the Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers. Not only did James not help Doncic up off the floor despite being right next to him, but he also had no reaction to the push. Doncic and Dunn eventually got face to face, and it was Jackson Hayes who finally came to the former's defense. The act was appreciated by the Slovenian, who made it clear he would pay Hayes fine for pushing Dunn. We shouldn't be reading too much into James' inaction that night, but these little things are starting to pile up. Podcast co-host Raymond Felton brought up that the 40-year-old also didn't help DeAndre Ayton up when he fell against the Suns. Williams, who played alongside James on the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2017, says all of this is out of character. That's not LeBron, Williams stated. He's not happy. James, who had just 10 points, 3 to 10 FG, and 3 assists against the Suns, also ignored head coach J.J. Redick when he was repeatedly calling out his name in the third quarter. He was busy chirping with the Suns bench, and Lakers fans were very critical of him for disrespecting Redick in that manner. Is all this down to James being unhappy about Doncic being the top dog on the Lakers? Well, only he knows for sure. James gave a diplomatic answer when asked whether the ball needs to be in his hands more instead of Doncic's after the loss to the Suns. Yeah, you go with what's been working. And obviously, we have opportunity to change pitchers and switch pitchers. But we go with what's working. Obviously, we didn't play our brand of basketball the way we wanted to play. So it's just one game. We don't get too crazy. The loss to the Suns snapped the Lakers' 7-game win streak and dropped them to 15-5. If they do go on a bit of a bad run from here on, then maybe we will see the ball in James' hand a lot more than we have so far. The Lakers are in action next against the Toronto Raptors at Scotiabank Arena on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Raptors have won 10 of their last 12 games and will present a stern challenge. James will have to play a lot better than he did against the Suns if the Lakers are to avoid back-to-back defeats. DeAndre Ayton feels Suns wanted win more than Lakers. DeAndre Ayton faced off against his former team the Phoenix Suns, but unfortunately he and the Los Angeles Lakers wound up taking a 125-108 loss. It was a tough night for all the Lakers players, including Ayton, who finished with just 12 points and 9 rebounds. Ayton had hurt his knee the night prior against the New Orleans Pelicans, and while he looked fine physically, Los Angeles had no rhythm or flow against Phoenix. The Suns were shorthanded and lost Devin Booker mid-game, but simply outworked the Lakers throughout the evening. Ayton attributed the loss to fatigue, lack of communication, and Dillon Brooks getting hot from the field. "I feel like there was a little bit of fatigue but not as much communication on the defensive end, and it kind of got to us," Ayton said. "We gotta just be better in transition. Hats off to Dillon Brooks and how aggressive he played. We didn't really have an answer for him and how he was posting up and getting high percentage looks during the game." While Ayton acknowledged he never felt like Los Angeles was out of it, he admitted that Phoenix played like they wanted to win more. "I never really have that feeling, but they definitely gave us a glimpse of that. They're the more aggressive team, and when calls started going their way, by the time we reached the third, it was really too late to try to change the game around with the momentum they had," he said. "They were in our paint a lot too, they made some tough shots as well. I just felt like they were more together and they wanted it more." The Lakers have been prone to being uncompetitive on certain nights, and this felt like a perfect example of that. The Suns have worn down teams this season with their aggressive and physical style of play, so it was no surprise to see them take advantage of mistakes. Los Angeles should be better moving forward, but the team needs to be more disciplined on both ends of the floor. Ayton is a huge part of the Lakers' winning ways up to this point, so it'll be interesting to see how he and the group respond. Luka Doncic and LeBron James commend DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has excelled with the Lakers, a promising development given his lackluster years with the Portland Trail Blazers. Luka Doncic and LeBron James have noticed how hard Ayton's played and commended him for his efforts.